Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss about time of supply of services. Before going to discuss about time of supply of services, let us understand what do you mean by services. So the services is defined under section 2, subsection 102 of Central Goods and Services Tax 2017, otherwise simply called as CGST Act. The CGST Act is the act which talks about payment of GST and when to pay and all rules and regulations is covered under that act, CGST Act 2017. So under the services is defined as and it says that it includes and it excludes. It has two different views on this, which says that it is including something and which is including something, excluding something, which means anything other than goods, money and securities. It says that services means anything other than goods, means it is excluding anything other than goods, money and securities. It is services, and it has got inclusive definition in contrast to the earlier one. So it means it says that activities relating to the use of money or conversion by cash or by any other mode. That is, this is inclusive definition, which tries to say is that the use of money is converted in some other form, that is from one form to another form or one currency to another currency. So that is, it has got two definitions inside, which one says that exclusion clause and inclusion clause. Otherwise, say you can say that excluding that and including that. And one important thing is that here, for that, separate consideration is necessary. For this to cover a transaction as services, there should be a separate consideration. And if there is no consideration, we cannot say that it is services under GST. Then we are talking, this topic is about time of supply of services, and now we know about what is services, and now we are going to talk about what is time of supply of services, why it is necessary. Time of supply means essentially whether it is for goods or services. It is the point of time, at which it is considered as supplied. So when the seller comes to know about the time when the services or goods is taking place, then he will be able to file the returns in time, and the tax on which the supply should be made. That is the time at which the tax should be paid. So the time of supply means the point of time when goods or services are considered as supplied. And other thing is that then only the seller knows the time, and it helps him to identify the due date of payment of taxes. So when he is able to identify the time of supply of services, so then he will be able to identify the due date of payment of taxes. Then he can avoid penalty, interest, whatever may be the charges that will be levied by the GST authorities for the delayed payment and non-payment, something like that. So this time of supply of services is essential for this purpose. And section 13, subsection 2 of CGST Act is discussing about this time of supply of services. So to know the time of supply of services and fix the date on which the tax to be paid, we have to have three considerations or three key points with us for determining that. One is the date of provision of services, and the two is invoice issued for the supply of services, and third one is the date of receipt of payment by supplier of services. So these three important points are necessary for determining the time of supply of services. One is the date of provision of services, when the service is provided, the date on which it is provided, and when the invoice is raised. And third one is when the payment is received for the provision of supply of service. So these three things are essential to determine the time of supply of services. And again, section 31 subsection 2 discusses about this time of supply of services. As already said, there are two situations by which these are given in this act, CGST Act, with regard to time of supply of services. And already we have seen there are three key points, which is the basic points that is necessary to fix this time. And situation one is that there are two situations, and the situation one is that the invoice should be issued within 30 days from the supply of services. And then the invoice date or the date of receipt of payment. First is that the invoice should be issued within 30 days. And the second one is that date of receipt of payment. If payment is received for the services done, then whatever these two things are considered in situation 2, and whichever is occurring earlier, that is earlier means whichever is coming as first one. If the invoice is issued within 30 days and the payment is received after the issuance of invoice 1. The second one is that if the payment is received as first thing and the invoice is issued within 30 days after that, then which happens first? That is the criteria decided for the situation 1 aspect. Then which happens first is the deciding factor based on which the time of services payment is decided. For this, one example can be cited here. For example, in a factory, the quality control equipment services are undertaken by one person, one company, and that for that service person is coming to the factory, visiting the factory and doing the services of this quality control equipment. And for that services, we suppose that invoice is issued within 30 days. The service has taken place on 1/12/2021 and the invoice is issued within that 30 days. That is, invoice is issued on 15/12/2021 within 30 days of that service. Then here in this situation, the time of supply of services will be 15/12/2021. Here the invoice date is the time of supply. Here, what should be noted is since the invoice is issued within 30 days time, the invoice date is considered as the time of supply of services. For this quality control equipment services, as example 1. This is cited given for this situation 1. And again we will move for situation 2, where the situation 2 is the invoice is not issued within 30 days from supply of service. In first case, we have seen that invoice was issued within 30 days of supply of service. The second case is that the situation 2 is that invoice is not issued within 30 days. Then we have to consider two things. One is date of provision of service or date of payment of receipt. This includes advance also for services purpose. Which happens first? That is date of provision of service or date of payment of receipt including advance, whichever is earlier means which happens first. Then that is considered as the time of supply of services. For example, here in the same situation, that quality control equipment service provider services the quality equipment in a factory. For that, he has not issued the invoice within 30 days of time. He has provided the service to the company on 1/12/2021 and he has not issued the invoice within 30 days, time stipulated in the section of CGST Act, then automatically the invoice date will be the provision of services date. The date on which the service has been provided to the company will become the invoice date. Here he has provided the service on 1/12/2021 and in this case it becomes the time of supply of services, that is 1/12/2021. So here the date of provision of service is the time of supply of services. So this is situation 2. Again in this scenario there will be another scenario. Here now we have discussed about the non-issuance of invoice only, and here the quality control equipment service provider issued within 30 days that invoice, but and it falls the services date is 1/12/2021 and the invoice is issued within 30 days, but the advance received by this service provider is 15/11/2021. Before providing that service itself, he has received the advance into his company. That is, the service provider has received the advance payment for the supply that he is going to deliver to the company, that is the factory. So here, since he has received the advance before providing the services, it becomes the time of supply of services. Here the advance received date is 15/11/2021 and then it becomes the time of supply of services for this purpose. And here we have seen in 3 examples where the time of supply of services happens and the based on which this tax payment of CGST will be fixed by the government. Hope this video is simply clear for you to understand the time of supply of services. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you very much.